From the center of the Americas to you, wherever you are, this is the End of Days. Hello, exiles. Welcome home, and welcome back to the End of Days podcast. Today, I'd like to talk to you about a particular topic that has gained a lot of currency as of late. And it's a mighty interesting one because it is related to other topics that all sort of intertwine in a way that's rather fascinating. And that is the NDE, or near-death experience. You might have heard of a near-death experience, and it is what it suggests itself to be, which is to say, it is somebody, a person who has had the experience of being on death's doorstep and actually crossing the threshold. But the difference is they get to come back and they get to report on it. Most people, when they die, they're gone. So people who have had a near-death experience have enjoyed the ability to cross to the other side and come back and tell us all about it. And it really begs the question of what does that mean and why is this a topic that's more popular than ever? There's a lot of commonality that exists between people who have had these NDEs. One of the aspects of the NDEs is that it's comparative in some regards to these other experiences I was alluding to. Things like past life regression, which is something Dolores is famous for having done, remote viewing, which Dick Algire is famous for doing. Of course, you have Nikola Tesla's keys to the universe, essentially. What he said was, if you know and understand energy, frequency, and vibration, you really hold the keys to understanding the universe. There are other people, though, who've had a similar situation, a similar experience. They have had sort of what we would call downloads. A lot of times these are very artistic, creative people. And when they're asked, how did you come up with that song? How did that information manifest itself within you? And they often describe it as having received a download, a spiritual informational download. And then there, of course, are the people who spend a lot of time in meditation, and they go into a meditative trance. And if you do it for a longer period of time, you may have what can only be described as a sort of transformative or transcendental experience. And then what about the ether? What about that thing that connects us all together that allows for us to have interoperability over many millions, billions, trillions of miles, such as in quantum physics, when you flip an electron here on the other side of the world, on the other side of the universe, that electron simultaneously flips. And there is no latency whatsoever. So much for the speed of light. There's another way that people will go about having this sort of a transcendental experience, and that's a plant-based facilitation, hallucinogenic, as it were. If you're interested in learning more about NDEs, there's a bunch of different podcasts out there that you might want to take a look at. There's a podcast called The Other Side NDE, Life After Life NDE, and there's a fellow that I mentioned, I think last time we were talking, his name is Holden Lee, and his story is fascinating because Holden Lee not only had a near-death experience, but that near-death experience led him into the realm of the psychedelic. And he decided that he wanted to have that kind of an experience again that he had when he died. He talks about revisiting his NDE experience through the use of hallucinogenic mushrooms and other types of medications. Perhaps the gateway to understanding the nature of life as it exists beyond the paradigm of our three-dimensional existence, which is to say these three dimensions that we see plus time, is by having one of these experiences, whether you go about it through a purposeful journey or whether you go about it accidentally, as happens with an NDE. People who have had NDEs and people who have had other experiences vis-a-vis meditation or through plant medications, past life regression even, they all sort of describe this process as a connection with a knowledge that's beyond themselves. And you see this with the remote viewers as well. And for people who have had NDEs, there's the presence of others, and they describe a connection to source, to oneness. The experience and the knowledge of all of this has been with us for as long as we've been here, but for the last thousands of years, it's been inaccessible to nearly everyone except for the adepts. They have hidden it away from people in order to facilitate things for their own benefit. And we can see this through the teachings of the Rosicrucians, through some of the things that have been said by the Freemasons. And unfortunately, they have turned it such that they've used it really only for their own benefit, for nefarious purposes. The thing is we all have access to it. And Holden Lee talks about that in great detail. So I really suggest you check him out in the link below. Could it be that after so much time now, humanity is awakening to that which has been here all along? If you'd like to know more, check out some of the podcasts on the topic and the links below. Where do we go from here? So much to talk about. God helps those who help themselves. So whatever you do, work at it with all your heart. Be mindful, be helpful unto others, for there is salvation, and that salvation may be your own, and you not even know it. CB wanted me to mention, thanks for listening. If you like this content, please consider liking and subscribing. It really helps.
Adios, and thanks for all the fish.